Hello everyone. So I would like to talk about something that happened recently in France in the biggest hosting provider of Europe, OVH. And they had a data center who just burned entirely in Strasbourg. It's in France, on the top right hand corner of France. And you know what? It happened. It can happen even on the biggest hosting provider or even on big cloud providers. And the thing is, they lost tons of data, and there are tons of data that hasn't been backed up by the end users. And I bet that most of those end users are startups and small businesses, because they are not aware of the risks. They don't have the technical skills to create automated backup, etc., etc. So they are the first one to be hurt in case of a big issue, technical issue like that. So how to avoid that and how to protect your business from this type of difficulties? First, backups. You absolutely need to have backups, obviously, and you need to have external backups, which means in another data center. And it's even better if you can do an external backup in another hosting provider, because I don't know, if one hosting provider has been hacked, as example, they might be exposed on all their data center. So that could be better to have your own data only at one place. So that's one thing. The second thing is to have what we call a disaster recovery plan. So disaster recovery plan is basically a big document who explain step by step what to do in which case. And they also include some real procedure to follow whenever we need to restore a service. So how to reinstall the server, how to restore everything, the backups, etc. Where to find the backups, in which case using which backup, etc., etc. So that's really important to have this type of document. Although you are small, you need to be sure that your hosting provider, the technical team you have, or the software provider you are using have those type of knowledge, and they are taking care of that. Next, something quite special, because on an application, you have two different types of data. You have the application, and you have all the data that are going to evolve over time. And we talk about more specifically documents, like the pictures of your users, as well as database. And you know, database change every minute, all the time. There is always an update. So it's hard to do backup, because backups basically are, you do a snapshot, you do the backup right now, and then you're going to do another one in the next hour, and etc. So you might run the risk to lose some data in between. So there are solutions for that, and we call that standby mode between two database server. So that's pretty complex, and usually it requires a database administrator to set it up, and most of the time it's not affordable for startups or small businesses and SMEs. And in that case, you have two solutions. Either you choose to work with clouds, because clouds have what we call multi-AZ features, which basically is the standby mode. So they are able to synchronize both two databases in two data centers. So no matter what happened in one, even if it burned, you will have your data automatically on the second one. And it's much better than that. It's going to be restored dynamically right away in the second one. So already available, up to date, the last transaction was there, and you're not going to lose anything. That's great. But not all the businesses can use clouds, because sometimes the privacy thing, etc. So in that case, you absolutely need to do backups every hour. I do believe that you need to do backups every hour of your database. You know, when we are a startup, when we are a small businesses, we don't have that much things on our application or our website, whatever the website or technology you use, it's usually quite small. So you can do a backup every hour. It's going to be like 10 megabytes, something like that, maybe a bit more. But it's easy. It can be copied in a few seconds. So I mean, that's very easy. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, one more thing. There is a great concept if you are a fast-growing startup that can really, really help you. This is the concept of infrastructure as code. So what is infrastructure as code? Infrastructure as code is the ability to deploy an entire infrastructure. I mean, servers, virtual networks, etc., firewalls, rules, all the thing, you name it, the application, the database, everything, you can restore it in a matter of minutes just by scripting the entire deployment. And that's just awesome. That's really, really good because it allows you to just do your backup, save only data, but not having servers running in parallel for nothing, for not being used. You just store the infrastructure, the data. And then if something happens, you just run the script, the infrastructure as code, and it redeployed everything in a second data center, or maybe on another provider. You have to type an infrastructure as code. You can definitely write down some code for a specific hosting provider, like I would think about AWS as example, or you can use a specific technology to deploy your infrastructure, like Kubernetes as example. And in that case, you would have a script dedicated in Kubernetes environment, which is great because Kubernetes is available on every type of cloud providers. I mean, Google providers, AWS, I'm not sure Azure, Microsoft Azure. I'm pretty sure we need to check, but they are available in many hosting providers. And I mean, good DevOps could deploy a Kubernetes clouds quite easily, private clouds and private infrastructure quite easily on any hosting provider. So that's a great option. Really recommend you if you are in the growth stage. Other than that, just be sure that you have backups every hours of your data, of things who changed, and of your application as well. Oh, by the way, the source code also have to be somewhere else. Don't save the source code in the same place as your main deployment, and have backups of your source code repository as well. That's obvious, but it's important to name it as well. Okay, I hope it helps. Wishing you a great day, and see you very soon in another episode. Bye for now.